Living in a world driven by technology, creativity, and innovation are some of the key drivers of information and communication in the world we live in today. As part of bridging the gap in ICT in West Africa, ACE Communications Executives presents you an Advanced Information and Communication Technology Training Camp, AICTT, here in the Gambia. A 3-week training camp with over 80 young professionals brought together from Ghana, Nigeria, and the Gambia to enhance their skills and learn new techniques in ICT. After weeks and weeks of preparation, going through application, shortlisting, and logistics, the day finally arrived. As the sun sets, participants arrived at the Banjul International Airport. Filled with hope, anticipation, and excitement, the ACE team welcomes their participants in grand style to the Gambia.
Welcome to the smiling coast of Africa.
A grand opening ceremony graced by dignitaries from the public, private sector, and the press. The CEO, ACE Communications Executive, and Camp Director, Ms. Fatim Baji, welcomes participants and thanks them for their participation.
The growing sector demands for advanced ICT skill training, and there still lies a vacuum. There still lies a gap of advanced training and capacity building in the ICT sector in the sub-region, with a strong focus on the local West African context. In response, ACE Communication Executive developed first ideas of an advanced ICT training camp 2015. And I'm proud that we can welcome today 80 young ICT professionals from Ghana, Nigeria, and the Gambia. And you will all have the opportunity to advance your theoretical and practical knowledge in ICT during an advanced ICT training camp here for 3 weeks. The program strives to link young ICT professionals across West Africa in a global sharing platform to enhance regional integration. The participants will expect not only 3 intensive weeks in combination with practical hands-on activities and classroom lectures on cybersecurity and advanced intrusion protection, geographic information service, data management, application development, and e-commerce. You will also have the opportunity to foster relationships with series of networking events organized for you, get-togethers, excursions, parties. We will put a special focus on local ICT challenges and opportunities in areas that are current, relevant, most especially aligned with strategic priorities of both the public governance, private sector growth, and entrepreneurship within the ICT sector of West Africa.
She encouraged participants to network and learn from each other as they spent an exciting 3 weeks in the smiling coast of Africa, the Gambia. On behalf of the Minister of Information, Communication Infrastructure, Permanent Secretary Mr. Lamin Kamara officially opened the ceremony and applauded ACE for such an event, stating ways in which it complements government's effort in developing areas in ICT in the Gambia.
ICT is important for development and a cornerstone for economic advancement of any nation. Infrastructure, systems, and the enabling environment are really important. However, this must be underpinned by a highly trained and skilled human resource. Therefore, this AICTT training is a very relevant and will form an integral part in bridging the digital gap.
As he challenged participants to take the opportunity and enhance their skills in ICT, he echoed the views of Camp Director Ms. Baji on the importance of training and declared the training camp officially opened.
I want to urge ACE Communications to always continue in their desire to play a key role in contributing to the advancement of this sector. On that note, I have the honor and privilege to declare this AICTT training open. Thank you all.
For most of the participants, it was their first visit to the Smiling Coast. They were entertained by a cultural group and youth dance group from the Gambia. The ceremony ended with a tour of the campsite and light refreshment. As they entered week 1, participants were oriented and placed in 3 different groups: Alpha, Beta, and Gamma. Soon after, they began lectures and seminars, and more time in the classroom. An intense first week indeed.
Data collection. In our office in Kano, in eHealth Africa, they use something we call ODK, Open Data Kit. ODK is Open Data Kit. It's on your Android too. You collect. That's what we use to collect settlement names, hospitals, and all those ones. They collect those information on the app. There's a questionnaire that has been designed on the app. The data, the app also records the coordinate of that place. When you now get back to the field, you upload those data into a CSV file that you could open in Excel. From the CSV file, you could upload into a GIS system where you can view. Now, all this data that has been stored on your mobile device, you will see the same data on the map. Now, that is part of data collection.
As week 1 came to an end, the different groups enjoyed a fun sports day on the beach and an interactive networking session at one of Gambia's favorite sites, Pokoloko Beach Bar. The Gambia being a tourist destination and popular for its sandy beaches and hospitality, the participants ended their week enjoying Smiling Coast from afternoon till late at night. As they enter week 2, they build relationships and widen their professional networks. They are no longer identified as different nationals, but members of Group Alpha, Beta, and Gamma. They studied areas such as cybersecurity, application development, e-commerce, amongst others. Again, it was an intensive week filled with lectures.
Once you install WAM, you should have a WAM www folder. Then you copy the actual extracted WordPress into the root of that. Then you can access it. So let me know if you guys need help. I should actually show you here. Okay, one second. Let me just install WAM here.
After a long, intensive week of work, they explore and sail the River Gambia, an exciting boat trip to the north bank of the river to one of Gambia's historical sites, Albreda, Jufure, near James Island.
These combined villages are called roots because this is where Alex Selly, the first African American, when he came down after 12 years of research, where he finally traced his roots in the African continent and in the Gambia as well. So after the publication of the book and the movie, it is entitled Roots. That's why the 2 villages combined are called Roots. But here we are right now is called Albreda. So the next one later we'll be going to is going to be Jufre. There I will show you the boundary of the 2 villages. So next time you come come back to the village here, you will be able to know where Jufure starts and Albreda also ends.
Jufure is home to a museum and popular for its history with Kunta Kinte and slavery. It is believed that descendants of Kunta Kinte still live there. Jufure gained more popularity when it appeared in Alex Haley's novel Roots, the Saga of an American Family. They listened to history and took pictures as souvenirs. The highlight of the training camp was the International ICT Conference held. It brought together professionals from around the world and created a platform for knowledge sharing and networking. ICT professionals from the Gambia and abroad graced and participated in the conference.
We have an SMS provider that gives us extremely good rates, and that's what we use for broadcasting. However, for receiving the initial messages from users, we have to ride on their network. So long as it hits our system, from then to other users, we control it. So the price over there is currently taken care of with our SMS API. It's only receiving that we'll go to the operators and say, okay, give us a short code. We'll pay the regular or maybe plus some small margin for receiving SMS. And that's the only service they'll charge us for. We happen to have very experienced guys here that have worked in that line of business, so we have our facts right on that. So no operator is going to cheat us. We will ensure that it doesn't happen.
But looking at this, what happens to historical data if we have to adopt big data? Are we going to throw away data from the past? And we know that we can actually make meaning from past data to adapt into what we're doing at the moment and push for the future? Or are we just going to let the past go? No. That is why I talked about digitizing data. And why would digitize data, which might not necessarily be cheap, to be expensive, but at the same time, it will be worth it? What will it do? Since this data is file-based, there can always be technology to convert them into digital form, after which we can get to have a silo, not just a silo, but a mine of big data.
Data in Africa really is not available. So it's better to start from where we are and collect this data, have maybe smaller data banks where data are stored. Then later we can now have big data platforms where it can be stored, but we really have to start from where we are. And that is one of the reasons for this kind of conference, so that maybe individuals, and I believe a lot of people are here, freelance consultants and everything, we really need to go ahead and maybe collaborate and see how data can be collected by ourselves, and also collaborate with other organizations that can help in gathering data and storing this data for the use probably on the cloud and on other platforms. But I think we really need to start from where we are and make sure we collect this data, make those data available for use, and consequently technology is going to help in collecting this data, and of course it's going to better and help in making informed decisions at the end of the day.
It all came to a wrap after 3 weeks of intensive work and socializing. A feeling of accomplishment was in the air, emotions building as it was all coming to an end.
My name is Kingsley Udo. I'm the Chief Executive Officer at Sisperi & Company. I was a cybersecurity trainer at the recently concluded AICTT Camp, and so far it's been a very decent and interesting 3 weeks of engagement and knowledge transfer. It's been good so far. For me, I just thought it was a task I needed to do, and I came to deliver. It's always a thing of pride and pleasure for for you to add value to knowledge and for you to transfer knowledge to maybe a group or a defined set of people. So it's been very interesting for 3 weeks.
Edna Ovule from Ghana, and I work with Ghana Health Service. Before coming for the camp, I was actually wondering what exactly the course content was going to be. I just had an idea about the 3 broad areas we were going to cover, as in cybersecurity, GIS, and application development. But when we came, I realized that there was more to it than just that, and obviously the camp was a very intensive one. I'm an IT background person, and I've gone through quite a number of programming classes, but I must say this has been the most interesting one for me in terms of the application development, especially. And so personally, I'm going to build on my web development skills, and that would also bring bear to where I work also. So I'm going to share the knowledge I have gained here with my colleagues at work and friends also. I think this has been the best camp for me. I mean, there are challenges with organizing things of this nature, and for me, the team has done a tremendous job bringing us all together. I mean, the flights, the food and everything, and even the hotel. So everything has just been fine. I don't think there was any major challenge.
Hello, my name is Sadiq Nasir. I'm from Nigeria. I'm here for the AICTT 2015 camp. Before I came for this program, I knew very little about the Gambia. I knew very little about the people of the Gambia. I saw the course module and the course content, but I never, it was beyond what I expected when I got here. The knowledge that was impacted to us in the last 3 weeks was so intense and so engaging. It was nothing like I've ever seen, and I believe that the organizers of the program have done really well to make sure that they've come up with a very good and comprehensive program. Gambia has been a tremendous experience and a learning opportunity for me to interact with my fellow African brothers. The camp has been very, very engaging, and it was it was a wonderful experience. If I was to go back in time, there would be very little to which I can change, because the organizers have done a tremendous amount of work to make sure that we got the best possible experience. Being the first program of its kind, I think they have done a tremendous experience, and they'll be able to do even better next year.
Like the opening ceremony, but on a bigger scale, the closing was graced by Minister of Finance, Higher Education, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Information, Communication, Infrastructure, high-profile dignitaries from the private and public sector, religious leaders, and the press. As certificates and awards were giving out, memories were being made.
There were many highlights. I think it was so nice to see how when the participants were put into groups, which was Alpha, Beta, Gamma, how they participated together and united, and during the sports event, how the different teams were competing each other. It was very, very interesting and funny. And I would also say the international conference we held was really interesting. We brought along some scholars, academics from different universities and experts to come into the conference, and it just gave such a wonderful opportunity to the participants to interact and hear more about ongoing ICT topics. So that was excellent. I think also the moment that we had each group come up with a presentation on possible projects that would be good for Africa, good for the sub-region, good for their countries or their workplaces. We saw so many amazing concepts, applications that were developed, database systems that were done. It was just so impressive, and it really injected the spirit of entrepreneurship in a lot of the participants. It was so important to have an ICT camp because of various reasons. The first one was to raise capacity. We felt like there was a need to raise capacity in the ICT sector. We felt that in many countries we had either low and very highly skilled ICT experts, and we thought that if we can bring more young professionals to the middle belt, that would really enhance the workplaces, whether it's an NGO or government or private sector or even entrepreneurs. We also felt that there were upcoming areas that needed to be specialized in, needed to be educated on, and we looked at areas like cybersecurity, data protection, database management, application development. These were key areas we thought that we should introduce more professionals into it to integrate. And to promote regional integration, it is to promote knowledge sharing and also to allow them to network. And this is something that was so important to the Directorate of Technical Cooperation for Africa, which has actually supported this program and has enabled many of them actually to come to the Gambia and be trained. I think also the ICT training camp was important to allow young professionals to develop a concept of entrepreneurship or develop a mindset to take initiatives and start to create applications or be critical about certain systems or that are being adopted in their workplaces, or to have an idea of how to protect the systems at their workplaces. So I think for these reasons, the AICTT camp was very important for young professionals. One surprising aspect about this was the amount of applicants that we had was so overwhelming. It just showed the thirst and the drive that so many young people have to want to learn more about the sector and have an opportunity to just network. And so it really created a good need for us to know that this is a gap. This is one area that can change the ICT sector in the sub-region. The need for opportunities was highlighted, by the demand and the enthusiasm that most of them showed. It just showed that this was a place where it started to quench the thirst of knowledge that many of these young professionals had. And I think the key topics were really well selected for them, as from the feedback of our evaluation we received that they really learned a lot from them. The first challenge was to inject the spirit of the camp in each one. I think another one was the fact that we couldn't accept so many applicants, and we felt like so many people qualified for it, and unfortunately we couldn't get them on board. After the first trial, we've gained so much confidence to know that this is something that can go on a larger scope and touch more lives in the ICT sector. Lastly, we would definitely love to see an opportunity for the participants to further some of their projects or initiatives, give them access to means of furthering their project through grants or some opportunities that are here and there. I felt that from the camp, a continuity plan should be in place for them, because some of them had amazing ideas, and now we wonder what will happen to those ideas.
Minata, July Janjang, I can't, I buru for the cancan, Ninkumata, Setu Sebalang.